So whether you have 500 followers or 5 million, or in Nick's case, over 10 million.
Whatever, yeah. Don't worry about it.
Well, we're going to talk about it.
Well, yeah, okay. Then it's 19 million.
I don't know where you're counting the ministry stuff.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
I'm just saying 10 plus.
Okay, keep going. We're not cutting. That's beautiful. Keep going.
I'm hoping we don't cut because this is good.
All right. Start again. Start again.
So whether you have 500 followers or over 10 million in this case, everybody to some extent has what we call influence. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And it's actually a conversation that not many people get to have with someone of Nick's caliber and Nick's history. It's that word of influence and how to steward it well, because the temptation is that you want to take control, or you want to be able to manipulate people. You can actually influence them for the good things or the bad things. And there's a good side to it. There's a dark side to it. And we're going to talk about how to manage that tension when your platform becomes, in this case, your pulpit or the place of influence that you might have. So with that being said, share this with somebody who you know is a creator of some sort, a podcaster, a speaker, an author, a content creator, or somebody in business who wants to start getting into content. This is the conversation for you. And we encourage you to share it and also subscribe to the channel while you're here. So with that being said, Nick, you have more than 10 million. We won't say the actual number because you're managing, you're counting all these other platforms.
And all the big tech stopped counting actually, but yeah.
Yeah, I think, because I manage your stuff on the back end, I can see that it's just stuck in the same place, which is very interesting.
Very interesting.
That's a conversation for another day, maybe. But so let's get started with this. You are a normal guy, and that's what people forget.
Yeah.
And we forget that, when I met you, it's hard to think or imagine that because I had to get to know you, right? And now that I know you, it's like Nick is a man that loves Jesus, loves his family, loves serving others. But then we lose that. Some people might lose that or sight of that because of big numbers, right? Because these platforms show us 1.8 on Instagram or this on that. And it's like, man, that guy is something. But everybody carries some sort of influence. But when did you start realizing, okay, who you are is now increasing in influence, not just in your local area where you were in Australia at the time, but then now it's global. Like you started getting known globally at record speeds, more than I think a lot of the influencers that exist right now.
Back when it was, 20 years ago in 2005, 2006, where the only way to influence anybody at the time really was DVDs and just going from stage to stage. That was it. Back then, if you wanted to become a speaker, you'd actually be told by everyone, well, you need to write a book. To set a brand of an influencer or someone who has something to say.
Like a thought leader or something.
A thought leader. Yeah. Back then, none of those terms existed, but that's what they were saying. If you want that brand presence as an influencer, you got to write a book. Fast forward to 2025, you can make AI songs, you can make AI books, you can make AI anything and everything.
Right.
And pre-AI to what we know now, it felt like everyone's a speaker, everyone's a coach, everyone's an expert, everyone's got an online e-commerce store.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're an expert in so many brands. Now that AI takes that last wave away a lot, the influencers that did have organic reach started organic and grew organic and remained organic and true to their own brand and self. I think that's the fundamental thing where I had to start a ministry in the mindset of it's one speech at a time, one person at a time, being authentic, transparent, sincere, and real from the very beginning.
Before we continue with today's episode, first, I wanted to say thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. And secondly, I wanted to give you an exclusive and first invitation to a 2-day virtual training with Nick, and it's called You Have a Voice. Now imagine the man that you and I have been impacted by for years is giving a training that he's never done before. And it's specifically for Christian content creators, Christian authors, and speakers. So whether you are already or you are an aspiring one, this is the training you do not want to miss. The link is in the bio with more information there. Again, the link is in the bio. You have a voice.
From being online or in person, people can tell if you are sincere and authentic. I think the first thing is that when you start with the why, when you know the why, you've seen other speakers, you know other influencers, and you can see right through them when they're not sincere and authentic. And so there was no mask or ability or filter to just put something up. You know, a text or a portion of text can be read in many different ways. But when you've got a video of you or you're in front of an audience, people can pick up the body language. My arms fly everywhere, right? And the posture, the pace, the pitch, the voice, the tone, all of that, because I was crafting myself as a speaker who authentically wanted to give what? Hope. So that was all my why. And that was how and why I built the way I built it. Just a lot of that, where I'll never forget an employee came to me in 2013 in our offices, and she said, "Hey, we got a notice from Facebook that you're the most organically, the most fastest organic growing, something engagement, which is comments, organic engagements, organic growth." As a public figure in the entire world, you're number one. And at that time in 2013, some celebrities had 52 million, 64 million followers, but they actually admitted that all of them were bought. I was not.
Because they weren't able to crack down on bots or anything like that.
Right. So it was just acquisition through purchase. And so when someone told me that, I didn't even know
that was a thing.
That was a thing. Like, okay, whatever. Like Facebook, like I knew I had a page. The team was managing it.
Yeah.
And in 2013, I did 26 countries and met with 5 presidents and spoke in front of 7 national governments.
That was when you started your world tour.
In a year. World tour 2013, right? 26 countries. 300 million people heard the gospel of Jesus Christ. And without those algorithms and the shadow banning, and it was quite different, Facebook back in 2013, I got awarded. And so at that point, from Facebook, and for that point, I'm like, okay, great. And I didn't even read it. I didn't look at it. I'm like, great. Now looking back, it's like, okay, awesome. But to me, the way I want to answer it best at the end of my answer would be, it's all for the one more person. So I always go back to the why. I travel away from my family at a pace that's getting to my optimum in 2026. By 2026, we're going to dial it back quite a lot, but I don't want to slow down in preaching the gospel. And we've got that rhythm. And so nickvministries.org, this is our 20th anniversary celebration, 2025. And we have reached 946 million people with the gospel of Jesus Christ. On average of $750,000 a year. Okay, that's like 3.5 cents a soul here in the gospel digitally. I'm thankful for that. And it's all about the one. And what I love about that is because I can't go cognito and I go in public places and people come up and they say, "Hey, I read your book. I watched you on the Butterfly Circus. I saw your speech. Your teacher showed your video at my classroom." All these other lists of how. And they're like, "You saved my life. Wow. You changed my life. Wow. I was never the same again." And so many beautiful stories. And I know that when they say, "I changed their life," all I am is a conduit. I'm not the source of hope. I'm just a normal dude, just like you.
Yeah.
I happen to be called and commissioned by God, though, to become a public speaker, to go out there and try to be a messenger of hope. And so what's beautiful is Billy Graham was always asked, who's the next Billy Graham? And he said, all of you. And he's so, like, those words ring true. You have a story. You have something to share with the world. If you don't feel like you have a testimony, here's a 3-part story to your life. Who were you before you met Jesus? How did you meet Jesus? And what does that mean for you today? That's a testimony.
Yeah.
And that's what I reckon we're going to be doing for billions of years in heaven, just hearing all the miracles of God, of all of our stories. And Uncle Bartle always used to say, your history is his story.
Yeah.
And so in the end, if one more person comes to me in heaven that I've never met on earth, and they said, hey, I listened to the podcast, Unstoppable Podcast with Gus and you, it made me think, you know what? I'm not going to give up. And I gave God my broken pieces a chance in his hands. And I mean, put a price tag on that. Put a value to any of this is like, all right, we only have hundreds of views today. We got tens of thousands of views of clips of this, Instagram and all that.
Yep.
We'd love to reach 1 billion people every week. But if it's only one person, that's like, hey, I got it. Or the last episode about parenting, you know?
Yeah.
If the parent asks the right question to their kid and they discover what they need to discover with the child and it bonds them together in love, in hope, and faith, if one person's life's changed from this episode, then let it be. And so that's the beautiful thing where I'll say one last thing for you all to understand. The last 2 decades, I've been traveling. I've been going. The next decade is repositioning the reaching of the world without planes and helping everyone know that they also have a story. I want to help people write books. I want to help people become a speaker. We want to help people understand that they have a voice for a reason to make a difference in the world.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a fun season. I hope I get to live another 10 years. I really do. Yeah. I think that these next 10 years are going to be like the best ever.
Come on.
I really do. I really do.
I mean, you mentioned some really key things, you know, because, I mean, I don't nearly have as much of a following as it relates to a platform, right, as you do. But to some extent, the tension, the temptation, or the influence is still the same because what you get 50,000 views on, I might get 500. But at the end of the day, there's still one person out there that might be impacted. And depending on what's being put out there, it's either going to be for the better or for the worse, for God's glory or not. But with that being said, it's like, I know that I'm just going to say this because I think people might think that, like, I don't get paid to say what I'm about to say.
He doesn't.
And it's that you actually mean what you're saying. Because it's rare the day that you've asked me, hey, how many do we have now? Are we growing? Are we doing this? Like, what are our numbers? What is this and that? You're actually, and I'm saying that to say, like, you've actually stayed true to the mission. It's the hope. And the reason why I bring that up is because, and this is going to go into the next question, is that what we have now in society or in culture is that people are going for that vanity number. And and what I mean by that is that I don't know, I don't think you're on as often as I am on social media or these platforms. The amount of content that the word, I don't know if you know this word, is brain rot.
Yeah.
More than it is something that actually makes you reflect and something that actually makes you ponder, something that actually makes you think and evaluate your life or actually make meaningful decisions. Those are a lot less than the brain rot. And that's why I'm thankful for what you're doing and what you've done. And it's that you stayed true to the why. And you said it. It's the bringing hope. So help us with this then. For someone, a small creator like me, and other people who might have even more than you, and I'm calling them average Joes because they got famous because of one viral video. And I've said this here before. there's probably no character behind it. There's no experience. There's no substance in their life to be able to sustain the weight of the eyes, the amount of eyes that are on them. How have you? What is it that you've done in your heart, in your mind, in the conversation you have with the Lord to stay true and pure in that place and not get stuck on vanity metrics and go into these because I mean over 900 million people having heard the gospel through you. That's huge. No, who can say that?
Yeah, not many
Does
people.
that make sense? It's less than a handful.
I get it.
And so for you to stay true to that and remain who you are, help us walk through that, because that's I'm sure that would be helpful for me and other people as well.
Well, then we have to go back to the beginning as to the first person that, when I believed in God for the very first time as my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, was age 15. When you experience what hopelessness is, or loneliness is, or impossibility, or however other word you want to use, I could also say that my soul was lost, without purpose, without hope, happiness, fulfillment, joy. I was happy, but I wasn't satisfied. I was satisfied, but I wasn't happy. Either way is the same thing, until I met God. In that, though, I felt a calling to help others find hope. That's the only unique thing in God then put me on a trajectory where it was organically one person at a time, where I'd walk my dog. I wouldn't go home until I talked to someone, hugged someone, prayed with someone, because I don't know if the someone walking by me could be the last time I see that someone here to then make a difference. But in the influence level is we all have a mission. I believe God has a plan for each and every one of us. We have different gifts, different talents. Some have a gift of generosity or encouragement, being a listening ear. Until you're actually faithful with what's in front of you, being that person of substance, can't translate online. Mm-hmm. Some people are shy face to face, but at the same time, and I'm not saying that you can't communicate online as good in person, but I understand the uniqueness of where I'm at, but we all have the ability to have a platform and have a mic, and however that looks like, whether it's in person, people see what you do, people see what you don't do, people see what you say and what you don't say. And especially with cyberbullying, like you said, you can influence people for the good or for the bad. Mm-hmm. If your why isn't, I want to make the world a better place, or that's kind of like a byproduct of what could look like. I'm not saying that money is a bad goal to have in target and achieve on platforms. There's nothing wrong with money, but when that's your only goal, you see people changing who they are, what they look like, what they say, whatever they're doing, what they're selling every 3-6 months. And that's what we're talking about, authentically being you to authentically make a positive change in the earth. And so you can make a living online. Like I'm hearing all these crazy stories of these overnight gazillionaires from doing something silly. And I'm like, man, maybe I should just do one thing silly and then get all the money, because that would be fun to do something silly like that. But at the same time, it's not me. Mm-hmm. I could now, turn my 19 million fans into something that's not me, and make them buy something or make them do something. That's that temptation always, whether that's 19 million or 2 fans, it doesn't matter. It's about your character in God. And so how do I do that? I have many people praying for me, and I pray constantly, multiple times a day. I read the Word of God frequently. I listen to worship music. I ask God for wisdom. I ask God for strength. And so I'm doing life with God in a personal relationship with Him in prayer. And the byproduct of that other people should see is the byproduct of my peace, love, joy, and then the good fruit that comes from someone who's a true disciple of Jesus Christ. So I'm not saying that everyone's a preacher, but I am saying that everyone can share your testimony. And in your gifts and talents, I can just imagine so many people saying, well, so many other people, there's someone else that's already covering that. You know, when I told my parents I want to be a speaker, she's like, well, what are you going to say different than all the other millions of people out there? I'm going to talk about hope. She's like, but how? I'm like, I'm not sure, but I know my story is unique. So don't be as well on the flip side discouraged, because we could say, well, what's one more content creator out there? What's one more story out there? Is that really going to make a difference? It's not make a difference, it's make the difference of one. That's the difference. It's the difference of one. And that was stemmed from just the desire of the one more. And so that's why I wrote books. And before I wrote a second one, I always waited for someone to come up to me and say that they read that book, it changed their life. And then I'm like, good. So challenge yourself. What are the gifts and talents? You don't just need to, it's not just talking about hope and inspiration. Maybe you're good at something. Maybe you're good at art, for instance. And you can start a channel and share your gifts and talents to the world. Or you're an artist. Okay, there's some AI stuff that can help you, you know, now do a production that you maybe could not do a year ago. But get your songs out there. You don't know if that song is going to save someone's life. So whether you're a painting artist, singing artist, or you're a business person, that's why I love 94xlife.com. It's a bunch of Christian business people who have employees, teams, and companies that understand their influence. So no matter who you are, you're an influencer. And the classic example I love to repeat is Arnold, the school janitor, who came up to me and said, I believe you're going to become a speaker. He influenced me. He planted that seed and actually organized my first speech at my school for me to share my story when I said, I have no story. So again, I'm just like you, feeling like I don't have a story. I've got nothing to offer. But yeah, going through how'd you build that? It's spiritual, it's maturity, and it's character. And the why is important to define. Again, I'm not saying it's not a good thing to try get a living off online platforms. You can. And if you can, you should. I haven't worked it out yet. I don't make a lot of money on anything from the online stuff. We've never built a funnel, a program, and nothing. This is now, though, not the target because of money as much as I want 1,000 people to write a book in the next 12 months. I want 1,000 people to polish up their speaking skills so that they can go and reach someone else with their story. I want 1,000 entrepreneurs, you know, empowered and encouraged to dream bigger and become generous. That's the impact. So again, it's all about the one. It's not about the money or the fame. It's just another number.
That's awesome. That's good. And how has just even being a dad helped? I'm assuming also just because now you have a why of a family as well, right? And you're thinking about the four, your 4 kids. You're thinking about your wife, right?
Yep.
And now taking that and just that's who you are at home, and it's not necessarily something you show in public, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like what you protect, it's what you value, and there's a difference there.
And there's one word that you're not going to see coming. The word is compassion. You don't really have compassion as, let me say, not you, me, let's say me. I went to new levels of compassion for children in homes that had no role models when I myself had children. Now, me and my wife will be the first person to say we're not perfect parents, but we're pretty good. And our kids have pretty good parents. We're not abusive. We're not neglecting. We try and encourage them as much as we can, discipline them, steer them. and not just focus on their weaknesses, but help them accelerate in their strengths. And so many kids don't have that good parent. And so that word compassion, I was compassionate for the one because I remember I was that one. I'm compassionate for the kid because, man, my kids are blessed this way. What about all the other kids out there?
Right.
And my life changed completely when I watched the documentary Mr. Rogers. Not the film necessarily, but the documentary. Yeah. And I really felt God saying, you're going to be the next Billy Graham, C.S. Lewis, Mr. Rogers, animated caricature that's going to help many generations. And so I think when you do what you do and money or fame is not the why, or you know what you're going to do with that influence and make the world a better place in that positive influence and having money to be generous, I think the word compassion is the one that helps you then dial the true north on your why as well. Being compassionate for those who are in need in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about a simple conversation we've been having, or you had with us earlier this week as we've been planning some things out. But I'm curious, like, is there a moment where you could recall where you actually felt like either, like, let's call it the dark side of influence, if you will, and it's the pressure or the temptation or the burnout that comes with having so many eyes on you? You know what I mean? Because, like, that's, I mean, if I feel it with my 500 something followers on Instagram, I could only imagine what it would be to be in your shoes and to be like, man, like there's a pressure to perform. There could be a pressure to, I have to output, I have to give and do this and that, or I have to, you know what I mean? And then burnout can come out. Or,
right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what, I don't know I don't think we've actually had that type of conversation.
No, we definitely haven't. And so in person, that's something that I've experienced in person on stages and time zones and flying and everything. And you, no matter what, you know, between coffee and the Holy Spirit, sorry to all the Mormons, you know, I could execute by the grace of God in front of thousands of people. And I'll never forget, I did 10 weeks, 10 countries in the 10 weeks, 110 speaking engagements in 6 different time zones. And I remember crying sometimes out of the pain that time zone brings, especially when you're in Russia. And I could do nothing but cry. And I'm like, this is painful. And you got to get up and you got to go perform because you're about to meet some governors. Yeah. You're like, okay. That in itself is one thing. But then I did feel that same pressure online where you always have to smile, you always have to look good. And it's like, okay, but how is today's social media post different than yesterday? Are you not just regurgitating things? What do you do that you saw other people do that does make sense for them? And then are you just going to mimic them? That you're walking away from your authentic self? Mm-hmm. Are you walking away from your calling and your call? You try something and you're like so excited it didn't work out that well. The reverse as well happens where you did something and you didn't think it was going to do that well, and actually it was the best thing that you did all week. The bottom line is you do your best with what you have, and that pressure to perform and put output there. Mm-hmm. The only way to realize that it's okay if you stop posting is when you stop posting and you realize the sky's not falling. Because that's the pressure you're defining. If I could put texture to it, it's like, well, the sky's going to fall if I don't post tomorrow. That's not true.
Right.
And so when you realize as an influencer or a speaker or an author or someone that anyone mimics as a role model of any kind, you know you're not the source of hope. You're supposed to reflect it to God. And so, but when people say, look at me, I'm going to empower you to get your inner self strength out. And well, really, then you're, okay, wait, is that really true for you? Do you feel always motivated? Like, I'm going to challenge some of you, like, You know that I speak motivationally in ways that, and in countries and in stages where I'm not allowed to preach a gospel.
Right.
But if I'm allowed to preach a gospel, I'm going to tell you the full message, which is it's God. And so I think you got to tell yourself that, number one, if I stop tomorrow, the sky is not going to start falling. And you're not here at the mercy of the audience in a way that subconsciously you're attaching now your value and your identity to what you think people think of you, to what you think you can give to the world. But what if you actually then define your value as, well, I supply to the world this, and if I stop that, then I'm less of a person. So you need to know the truth of your value. That has nothing to do with how many followers you have, how different you are from other people's opinion, or likable or not. So as an influencer, when you especially know the truth of that, that needs to be curated before you really step out and do it. Because if you don't, you will be easily swayed, and you'll be easily distracted by so many things that will allure you to an ideology of someone that you're not, or having something that you shouldn't have, meaning we're nothing but an empty vessel, the breath, we are nothing but a vapor, and we're gone tomorrow, man. Like, we're gone. We're already dead. Like, it's awesome. Like, we're already living it, and we're already done. And when you have that, that mentality, you realize what matters most, and it's okay to even admit to your followers, hey guys, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Take your time. Just don't burn out. And that comes from a person who's burnt out a couple of times on different things. And so have maybe accountability partners. What's your goal? What's your plan? What's your roadmap? What are your absolute knots? What are those boundaries? I don't think anyone sat down and said, what does my podcast look like? What does my brand look like? We don't know. You don't know until you try. You can have some kind of idea, and but you don't just mold based on likes.
Right, yeah.
You can in how you say things, sure, or what you say in some aspects, sure, and how you say things, but who you are and what comes out of your mouth still needs to be authentically you.
Before we continue with today's episode, first, I wanted to say thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. And secondly, I wanted to give you an exclusive and first invitation to a 2-day virtual training with Nick, and it's called You Have a Voice. Now imagine the man that you and I have been impacted by for years is giving a training that he's never done before. And it's specifically for Christian content creators, Christian authors, and speakers. So whether you are already or you are an aspiring one, this is the training you do not want to miss. The link is in the bio with more information there. Again, the link is in the bio. You have a voice.
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying makes me think of, like, because I've, been working with you for 12 years, I just want to say thank you, because I've never seen you sell out.
No, thank God.
For content, for money, for...
You saw all those offers that came on the table.
A lot of them,
said no.
Yeah.
No, thank God.
Yeah. And I say that because, like, let's say the content creators of the 90s, 80s were actors, and even they, without having to say any names, like a handful of them took their own lives. Because there wasn't satisfaction, there was no fulfillment, there was no purpose. They were going after things that didn't satisfy, And I say that now in light of now, where we are now, is that these platforms are, I'm going to go as far as to say, exploiting people because of the monetary gain that can be on the other side. And so it's like you're exploiting creators to be like, just put output to keep people on the platform. And I mean, that's a dark side in and of itself, And again, it all depends on the content as well. Could depend and some changes there, but still, like, I mean, I've seen so many so-called Christian artists or content creators, and when money was right, it was a completely different person, right? And that's the stuff that I keep going after. It's like the character that I keep bringing up in so many episodes. I keep bringing up the character behind the person that is creating the content. And I'm saying that because now, I've been with you as a caregiver for off and on for 7 years. And I met some of these presidents with you. I met these government officials with you. I was in one of your trips to Russia. Like I remember they allowed you to blow the cannon that they didn't even let Will Smith do.
Will Smith!
He tried to pay them. I remember that. And I was there.
And I got an engrave of a shell, Will. I got an engraving on the shell of it.
And
sorry, Will.
And I say all that to say it's like I've seen you've stewarded that well because you stayed true to who you are. You stay true to the gospel that you share, to the Lord that you love, and et cetera, and all that stuff. And I've seen you take those opportunities even behind closed doors that it will never show up in public. It will never show up in how. And I remember that. Like I remember those moments where I'm like, this guy's bold. Like this is a Russian official here, and it's like, and he's bold to share the faith, and it's like. Russian news, and sure, somebody asked something about like, hey, where's your hope? Boom, my faith, and it's like they asked me the question. It's an open door, and so many people would run at that point and be like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, do I say it? Do I not say it?
Yeah, no, we push the envelope a lot.
Yeah,
and we're always looking for to stretch that, as much as possible, and even in China, been there 46 times, and it's just been. It's been fun because I know my daddy's watching me. God, my dad. He's my father. I'm his son. We're adopted in his family. And we know who we are and why we're here and what we got to do. That's what Uncle Bart always said. We know. And once you're convicted, you're convicted. And to the death. At all cost. Mm-hmm. That's what conviction is. So being true to that, being true to your relationship with God is really what it comes back to. Mm-hmm. Going back to what you said, I'm very fearful of what's about to happen across the continent of Africa. Mm. Out of all the continents out there that have people on it, not like Antarctica. Haven't been to Antarctica yet. We should one day go to Antarctica and preach the gospel on all 7 continents.
If they let us.
Hey, you know what? It would be funny, actually, if we get invited. I've never got an invitation from Antarctica yet. All right. But Africa, the infrastructure of towers and cell phones and data, there's still a lot of gap. And money, what they would do for $20 a month. If you're desperate and you're talking like a third world country, all of a sudden you're compromised because there's quite a lot of needs that are met because of potential opportunity. So I pray for people that, are in desperate situations that technology comes. And I often, people don't know this, like I hate that some of my posts are seen by Africans. Like I know eventually they're gonna, like I put myself in someone's shoe, let's say in Kenya, who's hungry. Mm-hmm. And all this stuff, like has anyone ever stopped to think about the person that has no electricity from their hut, and then eventually they're looking at all the cars and all the food and all the gods that we worship of ourselves, and making a ton of money talking about money and stuff, and just like, oh, and this is my critique of this, dish. Dude, they've never had a plate of food in their life. So when you go to places like that, that's why I'm always cognizant in America, you'd say. In Australia, we're going cognizant of everyone watching. And so then you've also got people of different communities. And then you've got people who say they're Christian as well. When you're understanding who's watching, and all the diversity around you. And I can tell you, I've never been so uncomfortable to be on social media than I am today.
Wow.
And not because of just that, but because of the hypersensitivity. It's almost like if you go back to the 90s for a second. Okay. We had a lot less information at speeds that we have.
Yeah.
Now it's like we are addicted to information. We know everything about anything now, anywhere, at any given time. And then when you meet people face to face, they want to know, where do you stand with all the media and the world at this time? And what about this event? And what about that event? And what about that tragedy? Oh, no. Oh, you stand up for that? Wait, why? Well, why do you not stand up for that? Wait, why did you do that? And I've never seen the world so hypersensitive in a divisible mode. We're in mode divisible and dividing. That's the mode that we're playing right now. And unfortunately, we are little pawns on the chessboard. We truly are. That's why I want to jump off Facebook and Instagram and big tech. And I'm excited for entrepreneurs that make alternative things that will protect your data, that don't allow human trafficking to go through your kids' pages. All that stuff is real and making you do something. There's so much science, and we should get an expert on social media here who can actually help us understand not just the addiction part, but the scientific research that all these big tech people are doing. Like, they can make you buy something. They can predict how many times you go and exactly what product you're going to buy in 6 months and 4 days from now, basically, right?
Right.
Like, it's like overwhelming when you first know about it. And I think more people now are aware of it. And we're now aware that everyone's listening to us on our telephone.
Right.
And everything's being tracked. And everything's being mined. And everything's being sold. And there's no privacy. It's false. There's no security. So anyway, all that to say, you can quickly get overwhelmed on what the big tech does. You get quickly overwhelmed by what people like or dislike. And I don't read my comments anymore. I don't read comments on, especially the comments of the things that could be seen as controversial. Because it's not going to change my stance. Now, the extra pressure that I have is Nick going to say anything about that? Now, if I don't say anything about that, where is Nick? So no matter what you do, you're going to be in a position of uncomfortability. Because if you say something, there's going to be whiplash. If you don't say something, it's an expected thing that should be there, and you got whiplash. It's never a win.
Yeah.
In my position, I don't win.
No.
I'll never win.
No.
If you're trying to win everyone.
Right.
But if it's a tool, that's not the game to win. I'm just going to use the tool today as best as I can. And there's going to be some haters all the time.
For sure.
There's going to be whiplash all the time. And that's part of that. Like, don't let that take away your sleep. And so I've learned in my early 40s, I'm very careful with what images I put in front of these eyeballs, because it takes 2 to 3 weeks for me to see it. So whether it's tragic or graphic or this or that, it just stays in my brain. An audio soundbite stays in my brain for about 7 days. So I'm careful with what I listen to. A song can replay in my head 30 days straight.
Well,
30 days straight. I can't stop it. I have no control over it. But if I listen to a song 10 times in a row, I can't get out of my head for 30 days. So I'm very aware of what I'm poisoning my brain with or what I'm filling my brain with.
yeah.
And like, I didn't see some things deliberately. They're like, hey, check out this video. No.
Right.
No.
Right.
Just tell me what you want to tell me. Oh, I just thought you might want to know. I don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a point that I don't want to watch. And some of you just need to like turn off your social media for 30 days.
Yeah.
Like, let me say it this way. Last year, I took my family around the world for 4 months. I turned off my phone for 8 weeks, but I wasn't on social media for like months. You go to my page and I'm gone for like 7 months straight. I don't care. And you don't realize how much poison there is still in your brain until you detox. You got to detox. The only way to detox is stop.
Yeah.
It's scary.
I mean, I don't know if you know this much because you're talking about social media expert. Not that I am, but there's a book out there, if I'm not mistaken, it's called Dopamine Nation. And it's not faith-based, but it's so much information in there that's from studies that have happened. And some of the studies that have come back, and this is the obvious one that people have known for a while, that the scrolling of your phone was created from the same people who were behind, what is it called? The things in the casinos.
Slot machines.
The slot machines.
Yeah.
It's the dopamine. It's that maybe the next hit, maybe the next one. So in this case, it's the next scroll. Maybe that's why it's a scroll. That you have to scroll up, and your mind starts thinking maybe the next one is going to be the one. Maybe the next one is going to be better. Maybe this, and so we don't stop. And now we have this. Now there's a term for it. It's called doom scrolling, and you just don't stop. You just don't stop, and you realize 2 hours later, oh my God, and you get into this brain fog, like you get so lost. But then there's that. I had another thought, but I can't recall it right now. But there's that doom scrolling, and we get stuck there.
Yeah.
We can get stuck there so easily, and I think it's what is it, the neuroplasticity of our minds. That's the word for it. That how much our mind can get shaped and rewired and all that stuff. And I mean, it makes sense why you're saying what you're saying in regards to the music and the audio that enters your ears, the videos that enter your eyes. I mean, to some extent, I know you didn't explicitly say, and I'm not going to either, but there are stuff out there that's being posted that our eyes were never meant to see.
Yep.
Like we're never meant to actually witness that. I mean, and even for the people who are there in person witnessing horrific things across the earth, it's like, man, we definitely need to go back to guarding our hearts, guarding our eyes, guarding our ears, and setting some godly boundaries around these things.
Yeah. There's a dude that I met in Hungary. We were all sharing the stage, me, Jordan Peterson, and some others there. And it was an incredible gathering. And the dude that made the paper in Canada, I forget his name, he said before it was released, he says, Nick, the average person on tech for young people, the average person's daily watch time is 7.5 hours for teenagers. Right. If you do that 6 months straight, it actually remaps your brain. And it's actually worse than a drug addiction because it actually stops your thinking, pondering part of your brain or something like that. You just stop thinking, or you limit your thinking on a way that you can't reverse it, apparently. That's what he said to me. And I'm like, I don't know if that can be reversed or not, but that for sure is really scary.
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, where does this go? Where does this all go? I mean, that's a different technological trajectory as a subject on a podcast. I mean, are we going to become like the Amish, where one day you know what? I'm getting rid of my phone. I'm getting rid of everything. That it's hijacking me. I think about that. I do. How could you reset? How would you reset? We've become so dependent on this. But are we falsely so dependent on this? How much can you embrace the good with the bad until it's more bad than good? I think that is going to be it. Because imagine, there was always going to be something bad about telephones. cell phones. Then he went to smartphones.
Which we couldn't really foresee as it's coming out.
100%.
Right.
And then we went smartphones.
Right.
We had the internet, then smartphones.
Right.
Well, internet's bad. 100% internet's bad. But we embraced it. You couldn't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
You used the good of it. But then all the stack, the racks, it's interesting where our children will have to live in 10 years from now. It's a little overwhelming.
Yeah, because I think you're at the age still, you might still be considered millennial.
I am.
Okay.
Technically. I don't even know what that means.
So let's just say you and I are millennials.
Yeah.
You and I are millennials. And in our time, these devices were introduced. In other words, we weren't raised with them. Now we have a generation, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, who were raised with them and were born, and then Instagram existed, and now we're barely seeing, I would call it, the surface of repercussions of a generation being raised by the devices more than their parents, right? And I mean, there's so much to say on that end, but now we have so much mental health issues, and we're seeing I think on a good end, because there is good to some of this.
There is a lot of good.
For sure. And it's that from what I'm hearing, there is a movement of Gen Zers that is intentionally leaving, like you said, almost becoming Amish, but not necessarily, obviously, but intentionally leaving their smartphones and going to flip phones.
Oh, good.
So I
like that.
So you recall when I started as a caregiver with you, I had a flip phone. Somebody said I got smart and dumbed down, and that was probably the best thing I did, and I did it for 6 years, and it was so helpful because now my phone is just for calling, texting, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have Snake Run on that, and I wish I did, but I couldn't even play that. Like there was no playing games. It's like, and there's no scrolling anywhere. It's like you want to talk to me, call me. Like actually. Yeah. And that just changed the game because now I'm actually connecting with real people. Yeah. And it helped this right here. They helped the relational aspect of my relationships. And rather than thinking, oh, I have 500.
Right.
I have 500 friends. That's not true.
Right.
I don't have 500 friends. They don't know me day to day. They don't know the ins and outs of who I am, et cetera.
Yeah, you just lost 500 friends on it.
Probably.
But no, you're absolutely right. And I actually don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I don't go on social media. I don't. I have people to do it for me. I don't listen.
You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you very much for taking the hits. And like that. I'm just realizing now, like I want you to know, like I don't. And that's something I don't want to do anymore because it's so distracting for even the strongest of us.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to find your own balance, embrace what you can, and ask God. What would it be if you had something to share with the world that, sure, maybe, it's similar in some aspects to what others are saying, but you're the only you. And, I always encourage people to write a book about their story. Start there. I think it's brilliant.
That's good.
Yeah. Just share your story.
So let's end with this.
Yeah.
I think help us. I'm gonna make it very concise. Give us three things that can help, regardless of what age. Because I said it at the beginning, a creator, content creator, podcaster, speaker, author, even entrepreneur. 3 things that can help us navigate from your experience in your life that can help us navigate to steward these platforms and our influence well for the glory of God. Like what would you say to me? Like, hey, Gus, keep these 3 things in mind.
Number 1 would be stay true in your real value and purpose and mission through the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm not saying that you have to beat people over their heads with the Bible, but be true to you and do not be wavering in trying to be someone you're not or trying to do something to gain this or that. So stay true, authentic, sincere, and steadfast. Number two, be patient. I think patience is something that will always be something I need to grow in every area of my life. When you're in the entrepreneurial startup series, entrepreneurial kind of rhythm, it's always 3 times longer than you think it's going to be. It's going to be half the profit that you think. It's going to be twice the cost that you think. It's going to be harder than you think, period. It's the same thing with social media. It's going to take longer than you think to feel like you're getting some momentum, some traction. So be consistent. And that's what you guys have been telling me. It's like, okay, Nick, you're doing the podcast. And I'm like, okay, like how long before we get more traction? And we had the discussion. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's going to be it's a long road. That's what patience is all about, no matter what that looks like. I think patience is one of the greatest words in the English language that we need more of. Third one is just one more. Just one more. Why am I waking up today? So I'm one more step closer in strength for my faith in God, my family, my bond, my community, my friends, and one more person for mission. Like, no one's a perfect human being. It's not about do good, be good, and remember to be good as someone that did good and was fine, but it's more like today is a gift. What will I do with my gift today? What can I improve on? What can I excel in? What can I keep on tilling the soil with? Tracking that in a journalistic way or a vision board way has been really, really helpful. So I'd say goal settings really is like one more step towards that, whatever that is for you.
That's good.
Yeah.
So staying true to the mission, patience, and then one more.
Yeah, or persistent. Yeah, I'd say persistence.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Oh,
for that.
Thanks, man. Love you.
I'm going to remember that. So with that being said, like, I know that if you're watching this, you know somebody, whether it's you or you know somebody who is a creator of some sort. And you might even have already a favorite creator that you just constantly follow. I think this is a good time to share this podcast even with them and help them bring their mind back to, I think I would call it even some sanity, or just bringing it back to like a place of fighting for their mental health, fighting for the right thing, and just rearranging or realigning their mind and their heart for what Nick was calling the hope, the main mission, staying true to yourself. So I'm gonna invite you and encourage you, share this right now with someone, whether you're catching the clip or you're catching the whole thing. Share it with someone you know, share it with your family members, share it with your children so that they can get an understanding of what they're getting into, even as they look into social media or whatever it is that you're allowing them to do. And with that, also subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the next episode. And thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on the next one. Until then, stay unstoppable.
Love you.